everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on our next commission for the month of November, and this one is coming to us from Shimoyama, and ooh, I've never heard of this one. It is an anime movie, I do know that. Children of the Sea, Kaiju no Kodomo, which is interesting that we have kaiju and then also children, because usually kaiju I think of like Godzilla, so I'm curious about this one. But yeah, Children of the Sea, it's 2 hours, anime movie. Shimoyama has commissioned it for us. I actually had Sunspots get me a file for this movie because finding it and trying to download it online and rent it was getting to be a problem. So thank you to Sunspots and thank you to Shimoyama for commissioning this one for this month. I'm very excited to see what all this is going to be about. So also wanted to give a shout out over to the commission tier. Thank you so much for commissioning me these movies to react to. I do want to say I had someone comment about my Love Exposure reaction and commentary asking why I can't just put the full movie with sound and picture for you all to watch. And the short answer is that I don't think the studio will allow me to do that. Even though I'm talking over it, even though I'm giving commentary, I'm transforming meaning, even though it's technically fair use here in the US, I don't know if they will let me do that, and I just can't take the chance of it on my channel. So there will be a picture-in-picture reaction down below if you want to see the picture and sync it up with your audio, but that's just what we have to do. I'm sorry, go write the studios and tell them that they should allow it, but I don't know if that's going to get anywhere because we live in a capitalist world, and that's just unfortunately how things are. So hopefully that's okay, but if you need any justification, that's why I gotta do what I gotta do. Otherwise, I just don't react at all. Those are your options. So, and enough of you seem to want me to react, so there we go. But with that being said, I'm super excited. I don't know anything about this movie other than its length and its title, so I'm pretty excited to dive in and see what we get for these next 2 hours, and I hope you all are strapped in to join us. So with that being said, thank you all so much on the commission tier for commissioning this month. Thank you, Shimoyama. Thank you, Sunspots, for the help. And we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to get started with Children of the Sea. And I'm excited to start this with you all here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do it to it. Aha! Good to get 2 animated films back to back. Four Degrees C. They've done another film I've reacted to this year. I cannot remember which one though. Ooh. Maybe it was Mind Game. Oh, wow. At an aquarium? Wow. The style. The style, y'all. Uh, oh, wow. Yeah, this feels like Mind Games animation. Interesting. Having seen a giant whale shark like that, I can attest they are pretty impressive. Oh, was this place further in the universe? Oh. I love that we're getting older people with like the tattoos and everything. Feels very generational. What is this whale song that's drawing all the sea creatures? Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Free Willy! I mean, beautiful. Oh, seeds, children, and birth of the stars. Oh, this feels kind of connected to Angel's Egg a little bit. What is it time for? What are we building up to? Oh, okay. Is she gonna have the ability to like be a catalyst for this all? Oh wow, and there's people there too. Huh. As a man and woman, so are we talking about like procreation or anything like that? Curious. Been watching a lot of good things with good sound design lately. I'm pretty impressed by that. Okay, so the alcohol cans and her sneaking out of the house. And there's a lot of umbrellas, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Is it establishing that she once had a really good childhood with her family and now it's kind of deteriorated? Like the red shoes and all that? Oh, this is so beautiful. I love the design. It feels very much like a painting. I love it. Uh! Oh, cool. Ruka. Okay. You jealous girl? Oh. Oh, wow. Cool. Why she gotta be careful? Because somebody's gonna trip her up. Not your bad. She gonna go up and like kick the crap out of her? Yep, she sure did. She sure did. Well, the other girl did it on purpose too. Oh shit. I mean, girl, you started it. If this were Blue Lock, they wouldn't have had a problem with it. Japan, I don't understand you. Sometimes I don't understand you. In America, would have been like, well, she started it, so. I feel like this is why I like Blue Lock. I'm like, yeah, just let it go. Get him back. Why is she labeled the troublemaker? So this is a repeat thing. Because she caused this thing on my leg. Do you see it? Do you see it? Well, do you not see me bleeding? What are you going to tell the girl that it's also her fault as well? Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'm like, Japan, I don't understand you. Like, that girl clearly is also in the wrong as well. Why aren't you tending to Ruka? Why aren't you getting the other girl to apologize as well? Why is this the thing? Japan, you weird me out sometimes with this social construct. Ugh. Oh. Like, I feel for all she was doing was being good at her sport. Like, why is she getting all this blame? It's like the guy was telling her, don't show off too much, or you're just asking for it. Like, the fudge. So she's not supposed to show off or be good? Oh, it was just the first day. Hmm. That's so frustrating. I feel for Ruka. Mm. Like I love the paint just chipping, and then she just shuts the door back. Hmm. Like those tiny little details, I love them. I love them so much in anime. Like just the littlest thing. Hmm. And she doesn't have any friends. Girl, I mean, I guess she doesn't have access to a band aid. She definitely feels like a lone wolf character, and I wish she had a friend. Hmm. I mean, I'm glad she's showing some sympathy, but then she's like, well, why does she get away with it? Mm-hmm. I'd be on that beach. If I was near an ocean like that, I'd be walking that beach. Okay, so it is the aquarium. Are they? Does she have enough money to get in? Oh. Oh, her dad works there. Oh. Are her parents divorced? Or is it her mom that's the alcoholic? I mean, girl, you got in the aquarium without having to pay, so there you go. Oh. Hmm. go to the special section. Girl, you got free pass. Good day for you. Maybe it's not a total bust. All the pipes and levers. This feels very Alice in Wonderland. Oh. Is that the trigger of her going into another world since she's bumped her head? Is it an octopus? That's so weird. Oh. And the turtle. I like the turtle did the same thing she did to the bug. Nice. Aw. Oh. Yeah, no joke. Oh, hi. Are you real? Are you a figment of her imagination? Oh. Will her dad be able to give her answers about this mysterious boy? She's like, well, why does he get to go in the aquarium tank? Uh-huh. I love the idea of flying underwater. Aw. Girl, if you can hear through that tank his name. Interesting. Oh, yeah, hey. Oh, so he is real. He's literally Mowgli. Literally the Jungle Book. And the sunflowers. Yeah. So I like the idea of him being like kind of like a mermaid. Oh, and her room is all sea themed. That's cute. Mm. Okay. Oh. Saw the salt water. I mean, did you go through services to approve this? Oh, had a bad day. Ah. Okay, that's the mom. Hmm. So it's the mom. Okay. So the mom's the alcoholic, and her dad seem to be separated. Mm. I wonder if is he calling her a will-o-wisp or is he referring that to something else? Mm. Bitch, your nose ain't broke if you got a band-aid on it. No bruise. I like that she's practicing on saying her she's sorry. Exactly. The girl should say she's sorry too. Mm. I don't blame her frustration. Both if this coach was a good coach, he'd get both of them together, make them both say they're sorry and move on. But putting it on one person over the other is stupid. And I don't understand it at all. It's creating conflict for this movie that doesn't need to happen. She shouldn't have to apologize for being good at her. She wasn't even on the same team as that one girl. They were on opposing teams, so of course. Ah! He is like a mermaid. I love it. A will-o-wisp. Oh. Oh. How'd you know where to find her? I like very much the whimsicalness of that. Tis a shrine. I love it. Ah! 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 Ha! Well, because it doesn't have any money. She is a little bit selfish in asking why she had to pay because he doesn't have any money. And I don't know if they're trying to connect that to her having to apologize to the one girl. But it's like, I'm still going to stand my ground on that. I think it's dumb that the other girl doesn't have to apologize either. No, I don't think he would have came and got you. Oh. Oh, cool. I love it. This feels like Howl's Moving Castle. They're will-o-wisps. I told you what they were. They're will-o-wisps. Because it wanted to be found. Is it referring to her? Like she wants to fly, she wants to be found and shine and stand out? Because she wanted to be found. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Aw. Aw. Oh. 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 Interesting. And he's so much paler than Umi. Oh, girl. Why are you out in this? Without your bag? What happened? Oh. Oh. That was really cool. Huh. Oh, she just wanted to go to the aquarium to see Umi. Uh, is it the meteorite? Hmm. Okay, so we're getting back towards where we started here. Why are you affected by the song, Ruka? Hmm. Is she able to understand the whales? Hmm. Hmm. This movie is so beautiful. It's gorgeous. Or is it Sora? Yeah. Of course they'd be polar opposites. Oh, wow. I mean, the dugongs don't discriminate. Mm. I love how their personalities are very different too. Mm. I know that voice too. Huh. Oh my god. Well, your brother's a lot nicer. Ooh. Why are you being like that? Ah, there we go. There we go. I love how his eyes are. Hmm. I like there's three different color eyes. She has brown eyes, Umi has green, and he has blue. Maybe not. She's like, no, you're a jerk. I love the animation. Yeah, he's a jerk. Hmm. Uh, ah. At least he said that. So is she like them? Is that what it's saying? All these whales are gathering about some kind of baby. See, Jesus is coming. Is Mother Nature gonna give birth to baby Jesus? This does connect to a place further in the universe, and I'm not mad at that at all. Huh. Luminescence. Hmm. What about this glowing business? Think he's radioactive? False killer whales? What are false killer whales? Are they just orcas? Manatees! Freaking manatees! Love me some manatees. Is that what they mean by dugongs? Her boots. Oh. Quit it! Y'all are brothers. Quit flaunting your friendship. She's like, so that's how it is in their family. Uh-huh. Oh, well, we just walk right past it. Oh, okay. She's been there enough. Okay. Ugh. Oh, she said Oruka's mom. So did she get fired? So what happened? The worst. Is this meant to be a throuple? They are kids though, so we can't ship. I do like the fantasy, like, wish fulfillment of, oh, don't you want to get on a boat and go do adult things even if you're a kid? Why not? There will be no repercussions of this. None whatsoever. I'm curious why the mom's on leave of absence, why she's an alcoholic, and what led her to this point. Oh, God. Oh, my God. We'll worry about the logistics of getting back to shore later. Don't you worry. We'll worry about that later. It's fine. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Well, shit. Might have overheated. I don't know! Most realistic aspect of the movie. Uh, mm. Oh, no. She's like, well, I can't swim as good as you two can, so... Yeah, I'd be like, hell no. I would not be getting in that water. No, ma'am. That snorkel ain't gonna do you a damn bit of good. Yeah, no, girl. If you can't swim, do not get in. Nope. That is one of my biggest fears. The ocean you can't see the bottom of. I've been in it once, never again. Is it a whale or a shark? Because that will make an infinite difference. Okay. Oh. Oh, a whale sharks. Girl. Girl, if I knew I couldn't swim, I would not have gotten in that ocean at all. Oh my god. Oh! Yeah, thank you. Thank you. These freaking mermaids. Well, yes! You told her to. Mmm. The ghost at the aquarium. Oof. Oh. Ooh, interesting. So they all see and hear the same thing? Okay. Ooh, with the hourglass. Hmm. I mean, I like the hourglass there. Omens, eh? Ooh. Huh. What are we looking for? I've never heard of false killer whales before. No, don't get in, girl. You can't swim. Oh, that just gives so much scale in the moment. Oof. Oh. Well, she had those two with her. I want to know what the beef with her parents is and why she's so mad at her mom. Hmm. I also love that her umbrella is red to contrast with everybody else. Oh. Ew. Oof. Oh, shit. Oof. Okay, yeah, at the bottom. It's like when that lanternfish went up on land. Ugh. Oh my god. Oof. Oof. It's like when that lanternfish like washed up to shore and it's like they shouldn't be coming from the bottom of the ocean. That's creepy. That's kind of weird. A big trail of them. Oh, girl, no! You gotta staying alive, staying alive. Oh! Hey, remember how she can't swim very good? Remember that? I don't know how y'all open your eyes underwater, especially in salt water. I don't know how y'all do it. Which is probably unnatural in this heat. Mmm. Oh, not good. Oh, hey, wait! Is that his daughter? Okay, they. There are times where it's like, do they know that Umi is there? And then there's other times where it's like, no, they do. So, man, remember the days where you could just get in a hitchhiker's truck and just go? What a time. I do like the bond that Umi and Ruka have. I want to know why Sora was after that glowing rock. Old Jim! You know, he has the same eyes as Sora, so I'm curious if there's a connection there. Aw. Hmm. This movie is so beautiful. The animation is absolutely gorgeous. I feel like we didn't go any distant. Oh, but I guess she went home. Or maybe not. No, I feel like this is near her home. This is a very Ghibli feel to it. Oh. Oh. Who be you? Who be you? Again, who be you? Why? Who are you? Yeah. Oh, you just happen to be. You used to be Jim's assistant. Well, glad you found Sora. Looking all smug. That's really pretty. I'd be afraid of like scraping my legs on that coral. Aww. I mean, they are pretty much manatees. Aww, sea cows. Who doesn't love a sea cow? Oh. Ah! Aww. So cute. Love me a starfish. Starfish is like, don't hurt me. Don't cut my limbs off. I know I can regrow. Aww. That's cute. Sure. It's just like the. Oh. Hmm. Mmm. Interesting. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. Oh, that's really pretty. Oh, that's gorgeous. Uh, oh. That took no time at all. Sorry, lobster, but it was your time. Anime food, how dare you look good. Oh, ate the whole damn lemon. What? Monster. I like him with his super long hair. Also, the fact that this is over summer break, so it excuses Ruka from having to be in school. Oh my gosh, ridiculously good. This is so pretty. Oh, I like this. Oh, hey, Tanuki! I do like this kind of cycle of life sort of thing. Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I love that. There's parts that humans can't explore. Yeah, there's gonna be so much in this world you'll not know. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's a good analogy. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like the idea of the universe being a metaphor for people or people being a metaphor for the universe. Mm. There's a part of me that wonders if the assistant is non-binary or anything with that. Just, I mean, or they could just be a guy with long hair. They're just discussing the universe and the complexity of it and how we don't understand leads me to think that there's a chance of that, but I don't want to assume, and play into a toxic masculine trope that guys can't grow out their hair. Yeah, he's really. It's the lobster girl. The lobster betrayed him. Mm. Mm. Ooh. So her mom clearly loves her, but why is she so against her now? Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh. It's really pretty. Mm. Well, I'm sure you could. I don't know about talking underwater. Mm. I'm like, so we're gonna talk about Umi being. Mm. Okay, so he went to meet up with Jim. Don't get too abstract. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Are we suggesting that they're like ethereal beings or? Mm. Is the main guest Ruka? For what? Mm. Mm. Don't be saying all this ominous foreshadowing. Mm. Oh. Why? Why did we do that? Why did we do that? Girl, I wouldn't have swallowed that meteorite. I would have spat that back out. How long you been hiding that meteorite that you found earlier in this film? Be like, you want me to throw it back up or shit it out, sir? Oh. Oh my gosh. So were they just were the bodies just vessels for them? Oh. Oh. Oh, that's scary. So, what happened with Sora? And what's going to happen with Umi? Uh. Hmm. Well, that's interesting. Oh, so he's home. Hmm. Ooh. Hmm. 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 Phew. Okay, so they said at the beginning that the sea and the children. So are Sora and Umi like children of the sea? Roll credits. Hmm. Or did he just like disseminate back into the sea? That's so pretty. Hmm. It was just the way the things were gonna be. Hmm. Did he just like become one with the ocean again? Oh. Is that a sign that Umi's like getting close to being in the same state? Yeah, you made her swallow a meteorite, dude. I wish he didn't have to kiss her to do that. That's one of my least favorite tropes of like non-consensual physical contact for a child that didn't ask for it. Oh. Here we go again. Okay. Oh. I mean, there's something that's like kind of. Ooh, that's creepy. There's something that's like kind of sexual and biological with her having like the stone inside of her. It feels kind of like, mother of the sea, like giving birth sort of thing. Ooh. This lady. Okay. All right. Again, this movie's gorgeous, by the way. I feel like having the guest part is very spiritual. Hmm. Hmm. We'll pass the time by me playing some music. Hmm. I like the spirituality of nature with song and memories. Hmm. Hmm. Do all. These false killer whales. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh, hi. Oh. Oh gosh, like all the eyes on itself. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's like a person. Oh. Is this the gathering? Oh god, that's terrifying. Girl, you're about to be swallowed up by this whale. This is like mind game. Yeah, it's like a person under the whale. Is that supposed to represent Sora? Is it representing a woman? Is it a mermaid? Is this meteorite inside of her gonna have something to play in this? Is Umi down there? Oh my god. I was like, it's gonna have this weird effect on the meteorite. Mm. Is she gonna give birth to something, this child? If that happens, I'm gonna be very weirded out. I know. Like, I like the idea of all the sea life gathering for this moment, but like, surely this is an excessive amount of security. Sure. Oh. Take all the info with you, sir. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. I like that the mom's concerned about the daughter and the dad's concerned about both of them. So I'm like, was this girl chosen to be a vessel for this, like, birthing ceremony of the sea? Hmm. Hmm. That's the question. She's supposed to, like, vomit up that meteorite or something. Till. Oh, it's his seahorse! It's a little bit creepy. Seahorse, what are we doing? This poor seahorse. It's about to get acid trip o'clock in here. Yeah, what kind of shark is that? Oh. Is Sora the white shark and Umi the tiny little seahorse? Is that supposed to be representation? Yeah, it well, you know. Yeah, the underside of the whale does look like a woman with a lot of teats, a lot of breastises. Okay. I'm glad it went that route. Yeah, you say that. Mm-hmm. Sure. It's kind of creepy. Creepy. Just get the meteorite out of her. It's kind of creepy. I don't like the birthing process stuff with a young girl. It creeps me out. Just, yeah, I got that whole birthing thing. Ew. I don't like the idea of a child being pregnant. Gross. This movie is gorgeous to look at, and I don't mind it, but a lot of the concepts are just very abstract. Did she become a whale? I don't like the idea of like the idea of the meteorite inside of her being like conception. I'm like, she's a kid. It's a little weird. And where did Umi go in all of this? Umi has disappeared from the movie. Yeah. I like the metaphor of like all the stars in the sky, all the plankton, everything, all being connected because they really are, if you think about it. And all the planets. This is very mind game. I can tell. Like all the planets and everything building this creation. Mm-hmm. Or are you a guest to the universe? And the spiral of the universe, yeah. We got real abstract real quick. Well, yes, metaphorically and through your DNA. That's creepy. There he is. This feels very sexual of him, like, getting, like, penetrating into this sphere. They're kids. That weirds me out. Okay, he did have to take the meteorite. I'm glad it's out of her now. Or girl. Oh, or I mean, I like the idea of her saving him from sacrificing himself like Sora did. Holding this giant ritual in the ocean. I know. This zygote of the sea. Also the idea of him swallowing the seed and everything is very similar. Oh my god. Or that too is very similar, like the seahorse. I like surrealism as much as everyone else. I don't know why he becomes a baby. Girl, you fought for him not to eat the meteorite. There's some, like, biblically accurate angels. Okay, so he's not going to eat the meteorite. Or he is! Or that entire sequence was of no value. I can't say that. It was very visually appealing, but what was the point if you're going to make him eat it anyway? Oh, funny that we're watching this right after Ruben Brandt. Because it looked like Sora in that moment. Were Umi and Sora one of the same? Were they two sides of the same coin? Oh, shit. Was he trying to escape? What? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So were you similar to Sora in them? Right. Oh, that's creepy. All the like little galaxies coming out of him. Hmm. And they look like the scales on the whale. Yeah, what about Umi-kun? Uh, and they're like the plankton. Yeah, talking about the universe, and the plankton are like sea of life. Girl, you ready to give it all up? You've known this kid for a month. Not even that, you've known him a week. Oh. Ooh. That is gorgeous. What we having in this event horizon? we do that for? What do we do? What do we eat? Do we bite ourselves? So was Jim's ship the one with all of the money in it, or was it that woman's? And what was the point of that? I guess summer break is over! Psh. That sound. Oh. Wasn't that the ship that crashed? Wasn't that the ship that crashed with all the money in it? Oh, did you? Mm-hmm. Okay, Goddess of the Whale. Yes, that is the theme of the movie. Uh-huh. That's my sentiments exactly. Hmm. Well, you wanted to shine, so you wanted to be found. Is this all going to be a ploy to get her to apologize to that one girl? She's going to go apologize to that girl so she can get back on the same page with it. And that lady's like, I have taught you many things, and now I'm back out to sea. Nobody's gonna believe what I did over my summer break. That feels like crossing back into the world of humans from like the spiritual side. Ah. There we go. Oh, and of course it's her. Her nose ain't broken. It's been 1 week and that bandage is off. Ha! An eventful summer break, indeed. Indeed. An eventful summer break. All right, I want to go back and see. Oh, cool. Okay, we are getting like some things in the end credits. A chair. A chair in a different time. Okay. Oh, yes. Give me that mid-credit scene. Oh, that's her. Oh. Oh. So it's a sibling. Oof. I mean, once you are born, you start to die. So yeah, that's essentially it. Hmm. 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 Doll. Huh. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I definitely want to talk about this. Well, this movie was there. It was interesting. This movie was very interesting. And I have lots of thoughts about it. I have lots of thoughts about it. I guess I want to separate it into, so this is based off of a manga, which is interesting to me, and I went to go look this up. So The Children of the Sea is a 5-volume manga, and I feel like that is, I think probably one of my main critiques about the film is that this is based off a manga that was 5 volumes long, and we combined it into a 1 hour and 50-minute film. So that explains a lot. That explains a lot. So the Children of the Sea manga, or called Marine Mammal Child, is a manga series written by Daisuke Igarashi. It was serialized in a seinen manga, a monthly iki, from December 2005 to September of 2011. So this was a 6-year get Huckleberry's thing as we go. It was collected into 5 volumes that were published between 2007 and 2012 from Viz Media. I would be interested in reading the manga because I feel like there was a lot left out of the manga. The manga's plot is on the first day of summer vacation, Ruka Azumi deliberately injures a playmate who had tripped her up. Excluded from the club for all holidays, she decides to leave for Tokyo for a day. Okay, which is where her dad... So she went from her home to Tokyo to see her dad. Okay, as night falls, she meets Umi, a strange boy raised by dugongs, who dives and disappears in the murky waters of the Tokyo port. Oh, okay, she finds him a few days later, requisitioned by her oceanographer father to work in an aquarium he takes care of. But Umi is no longer alone, accompanied by Sora, who also has supernatural aquatic gifts. So there we go. Okay, yeah. And so it said on the development... it was originated from his interest in marine life and his habit of collecting field guides on marine animals. You can definitely see that. Initially titled Fish Girl, the story was inspired by mermaid mythology and the natural behavior of dugongs, which led Igarashi to imagine children raised by marine creatures. I definitely got that with Umi from the beginning. I got kind of a Mowgli feel, like from the Jungle Book, because Mowgli was raised by wolves in the Jungle Book and interacts with all the other creatures in the jungle. So there definitely was like a feeling of that, right? And said Igarashi sought to balance imaginative storytelling with scientific accuracy, consulting marine mammal researcher Yuko Tajima to factual details such as the anatomy of sperm whales. Despite being published in a seinen magazine, the series was created with a female readership in mind. I'm going to talk about that. So this was written by a man in a seinen magazine, but with a female readership in mind. What is the source that tells us that? There's a source. The source that tells us that is from Kim Morrissey. Manga artist Daisuke Igarashi shares inspirations behind Children with the Sea from 2025. So it was published. Okay, it was retrieved in 2025. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. But yeah, so it was compiled into these 5 volumes. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, so here's the thing. The chapter titles themselves, it was like Ruka, Day of Thunder, Hitodama, Marine Mammals, Patterns. Sorry, I'm reaching for this because he's being annoying. Ghost of the Sea, Chair, and Realm of the Sea. That's volume 1. And then volume 2 is talking, I guess, more about the kids interacting. And then volume 3 is Dugong, Ripples in the Wave, Internal Organs and Sea Borders. Here's the thing. Volumes 4, no Huckleberry. Volume 4, the chapter titles are Marine Animals, Pierced Body, Muddied Water, Sea of the Universe, Pregnancy, Crucible, Interception, Preparation, Venus, and Water Demon. And then volume 5 are Eyelids, Birthright 1 through 5, and Iruka. So, yes. I want to read the reception. So the reception for the manga says it was nominated for different prizes. Buddy, didn't do it throughout the whole movie, so I guess we should be happy about that. About.com's Deb Aoki commends the manga for its vibrant, detailed artwork that takes inspiration from nature, real people, and real places, but criticizes the manga for its slow plot, which picks up the pace after a few chapters. I'm not mad at that. I guess we should go back and do this alongside the actual film. I'm fine with a slow burn. Look, I can handle a slow burn. I've watched many a slow burn. I don't mind a slow-paced movie. I don't mind a slow-paced movie at all. As long as there is a reason behind that pacing and it's purposeful, I'm fine with that. The pacing of this movie honestly didn't bother me at all. I didn't think it was too slow or too long or anything like that. The very beginning, the whole thing with Ruka, you get the idea from the beginning that Ruka, her mom and her dad are estranged. The mom's going through a lot of problems where she's dealing with alcoholism. A plot line that is maybe explored more in the manga. It's not really explored in this movie. She's just an alcoholic, and then the dad's like, well, I'll work with you. And it's like, okay. So there's that. The dad is placed in the dad is positioned in a very nothing is his problem sort of scenario, which is fine. The dad seems really nice. The mom seems like she has a lot of issues, and it did irk me a little bit that the dad was kind of like, well, I'll work with you through your issues. And I'm like, that's great, but that kind of puts onus on the mom. But again, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But I do like the connection that Ruka has with her mom by the end, and then we find out there's a lot of elements of this movie I like at the end when her sibling is born, that whole thing of her cutting the umbilical cord and she feels like she ended a life. Well, it is said that once you are born, you start to die. Like, it's like life, it begins and ends the moment you arrive into this world, and so there's a connection with that. And I like the idea of memories and what we find value in being passed down from generation to generations, like the grandmother telling Ruka's mom the lullaby, Ruka inheriting the lullaby from the mom and her singing it. I liked that. I liked the idea of our generations passing on oral traditions and histories. I think that that's really important. This whole thing at the beginning, like, all she was doing, and maybe this is a Japanese culture thing where it's like, we can't stand out, we can't have fun, we can't show off our skills too much. And again, I watched Blue Lock, and this is a theme brought up in Blue Lock where it's like, don't show off your like, it's a Japanese culture thing where people are like, don't stand out, conform. And the coach is like, oh, well, she's standing out too much, so she's asking for it. The American in me is like, none of that. Having none of that. I do think that I was getting really annoyed at the fact that the one girl trips her, causes her to scrape her knee. But then the coach, whenever he pulls her aside, he's like, well, Ruka, you need to really apologize for lashing out at her. And she's like, but she started it. And the coach is like, then don't come to practice if you're not going to be a team player. I'm like, it's clear that Ruka and her were on different sides. So the one girl was just jealous that Ruka was doing a really good job. And then she tripped her. And then Ruka's the one that gets in trouble. And I was like, I don't like that life lesson. I'm like, no, granted, I do feel Ruka should empathize with the one girl. Like, oh yeah, you punched her, you elbowed her in the nose. Like, you should feel something for that. Like, I understand feeling the sympathy and empathy sort of thing. But then I'm like, the coach should have just gotten the two girls together, made them talk it out, and move on. Done. End of story. Done. The coach in me is like, you did not handle that very well at all. And I was afraid that it was going to come back. It kind of like comes full circle at the very end where the girls like, you know, I don't know. Okay. Can we talk about some feminist ideals in this? Can we talk about that? I feel like we can't go any further. So this is written by a man with women in mind, which is fine. Lots of women write, good art. Lots of women write stories with male protagonists. That's not a thing ever. But I'm kind of like, now that I'm hearing that, I feel like there's, not that there's propaganda in this movie, but I feel there are some lessons or some things being pushed that I'm like, I don't know if I align with that. Like, I'm like, is he suggesting that know your place, girl? And I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that mentality of it. Maybe I'm reading too much into it and projecting too much on it, but I just didn't think Ruka needed to apologize. It felt very much like, know your place, woman. You shouldn't be standing out and shining and doing all of these things. But then she's like the center of this whole like birthing thing. So we're going to get into that. But yeah. So anyway, her summer, it's all mainly a catalyst for her not being able to practice with her team over summer break and instead interacting and finding Umi and Sora. That's kind of like the impetus of this. Although in the film, she goes to the aquarium, gets the back seat to go talk to her dad, and then meets Umi there, which I get why they shortened that from the manga. That makes sense. There is, I do like the surreal element of this movie where you don't know, is it like Alice in Wonderland, what's real and what's not real? I like that to an extent. They kind of play it up at the beginning, especially when she like bumps the head on the pipes. I'm like, normally, like in Alice in Wonderland, she falls into the, she was asleep by the tree, then she wakes up, follows the rabbit to the hole in the ground and falls into Wonderland. And then she wakes up at the end and you're like, oh, was it a dream? You know, then there's elements that point to it not being a dream. It's kind of like Labyrinth too, has that same vibe. That started out with this film having the same vibe as well. But then the series goes full on into the surreal and invests heavily into it. And I'm like, we're going to talk about it. The movie is gorgeous. The movie animation is gorgeous. Like one of the most beautifully animated things. I mean, I've seen some really good stuff on this channel the last several months with the commissions. This is just like, it's like a visual spectacle. It's just a feast. Like the style, I love the artwork. I love, again, we're getting to like the people that did Mind Game, I think. And just their art style for the studio is just really, really good. And I like that. Joe Hiyashi does the soundtrack, the same guy that does the Ghibli films. Very beautiful. Love the soundtrack. Love all that. That works out really good. It's great. But to go back to the thing about the Deb Aoki's review, says pop culture shocks. Okay, now we're going with somebody else. Pop culture shocks Sam Kusek comments on the interactions between the main characters, saying Umi, Sora, and Ruka all share something in common: the fact that they are outsiders from the norm. Ruka is not your normal girl. As athletic as she is, her attitude and aggression towards her teammates leaves her high and dry for the summer. Consistently throughout the book, people are bad-mouthing her as she passes them on the street. Oh, okay. Umi and Sora are obviously outsiders due to their extreme circumstances, wearing large robes to cover a majority of their skin and having to constantly bathe in water. Sora has especially a frail constitution, spending most of the book in and out of the hospital. All three are young children that are shown throughout the book, but they have a unique sense of maturity that sets them apart from not only from other children, but most other adults. I mean, yeah, Ruka, I'm glad that she didn't have to face like any opposition. I feel like it's mainly she just had that squabble with the kid in the movie, and then the rest of the time her and the adults around her seemed to have a pretty good reputation or relationship, so that was good. Anime News Network Carlo Santos commends the manga for its subtle, seamless storytelling and first-class artistry combined to form a fascinating tale of the sea, but criticizes it for mundane events and superfluous scenes that sometimes slow down the plot. ICV2 Steve Bennett commends the manga for the art is rich with photorealistic detail that helps give the fantasy a solid grounding in reality and has strong emotionally honest characters, which should make this young adult fantasy appeal to both fans of epic fantasy and contemporary teen dramas. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, about the audience for it. With that, I do love the hyper-realism of the animation. I feel like the one shot that's between Anglade and Jim where they're on the island, and it's just like a very photorealistic like shot of their face. Even though it's anime and even though the eyes are too big and it's illustrated, it just looks kind of like there's all these details in the illustration parts of it, and I really like that. So that's really cool. But yeah, says Cool Streak Comics Leroy Desero comments that he is reminded of the 1980s ecological sci-fi comic book The Puma Blues when reading the manga. He commends Igarashi's earthly art with its busy line work, cross-hatching, there we go, and unsophisticated figure drawing, grounds the series in reality, which makes the moments of enchantment all the more breathtaking. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about like the idea of the audience that it's written towards. In a little more detail, because I do feel like if I go back to the film and the reception on the actual film, the reception of it being with the critical response, that it's strikingly lovely, if less satisfying on a narrative level. It has highlighting the spectacular visual sequences. But one critic said it was too long and aimless. I don't think the film is too long, and I don't think it's aimless. I think it has a very distinct point, but I want to talk about that with you all. It's a contender for the best looking animated film I've ever seen. It is gorgeous. It is absolutely breathtaking, the visuals of it. I found myself not wanting to say anything because I just wanted to sit there and take in the visuals, which I'm sorry if that made the reaction not as exciting, but I was just like so enamored by how beautiful the film looked that I really didn't have a lot to say that. So anyway, it said director Ayumi Watanabe, in describing the adaptation, says it's the exploration of an age-old tension between those who recognize a rare and fragile being they wish to protect and the callous impulse to experiment. That was one thing. I feel like the manga probably goes in more detail about the experiments on the boys, but I wish we had gotten more into the specifics about that, or if we weren't going to get into the specifics, focus less on it. And maybe that's tied with the pacing, because they kept talking about the experiments, the MRIs and everything, but we never really got into seeing any of them except the one shot of Sora going into the MRI machine. And I'm like, if we weren't going to delve too far into it, then I think we should have scaled that plot point back, because it did leave me wanting to know more, especially about Umi, but Sora is the only mention we really get of it. It does say Iru Kobuzuka was initially announced to play Sora, but he dropped out from the role since he had trouble with his voice changing due to puberty. Well, who played each one? I want to go back to see who played each person. especially the main three. Oh, and Anglade. Anglade was really good. Yeah. So, let me see here. Okay, I don't know her. The actress that plays Ruka is Hiro Ishibashi. Or no, no, no. No, Ishibashi plays Umi. I don't know them. They have been in Yu-Gi-Oh! And a couple series that I haven't seen. They're a relatively new voice actor. They started voice acting in 2020. So this was actually their first work they ever voice acted for. So that's cool. Nice. Ruka's voice actress was Mana Ashida. She's done a lot of TV dramas, not so many anime. And then Sora was Seishu Uragami, who has been not in very much at all. They're in a series that I've been recommended, but I have not seen yet. The Hokusai, they've been in that, but I've not been, or that movie maybe. They're not really in a lot of movies. And then Win Morisaki has played Anglade, and he's been in other movies, but none that I've seen yet. Interesting. Okay, cool. They're more of like an actor that does, I think, live action films. Interesting. But yeah, so I want to talk a bit about several parts of this. So I like the movie starting out, and I like kind of this notion that she's got a connection to the sea, and that kind of makes her feel like an outsider. And we don't know if it's because her parents are oceanographers and maybe she's always been around that environment. The film doesn't get too much into that detail, but I like the idea of her and Umi having this bond. One thing that I kind of got lost with as the movie went on is that once Sora becomes one with the sea again, they don't really explain what happens to him. It's just, we're assuming that he dies and becomes part of the sea again as a spiritual vessel. They don't explain it. Is that Umi and her relationship kind of falls off, and they don't really do anything with it. He just shows back up in this very abstract, surreal, like penetrative, possibly sexual scene tied with her helping him get birthed in the ocean again with the meteorite. I feel like when they talked about this being for a younger audience, even though I guess my intent and audience were some focuses of this that I felt the movie got kind of lost in for me. Like visually it's gorgeous, and I love the ideas that it's putting forth about how we don't understand the world. But if we're talking about the experimentation, like there's this fragile, beautiful thing that we don't understand, but we experiment with it, and we're delving into things that maybe we don't need to understand. And I'm torn with that idea in itself because I'm watching Orb on the Movements of the Earth, which tallies with that theory too, and I have thoughts about it. But as someone who is perpetually afraid that we are considerably damaging our ecosystem to the point where we will never be able to repair it, this movie does make me worry a little bit, because it's like basically saying the statement like, maybe you should just leave nature alone sometimes. Maybe you should not tamper with things that are beyond your depth, so to speak. And I feel that with kind of this, if we're talking about sunspots, this themes of resistance, that there is this tension between the vast ocean and the world and us not knowing how to handle it and how to deal with it. And I liked that message a lot. I also like the message of how things in nature mirror each other and there are connections with it. Like, if you ever look at a tree and a tree branches out, right? I've always thought that the tree branching out reminds me of like your vein system in your body, right? The veins kind of branch out like the branches of a tree. Nature and the human body sort of imitate itself. And there's a spirituality with that. There's, I'm religious in the sense of that I do think there are connections to a higher power in our development and how we relate with nature. And I think that there's a connection there. And I feel this movie taps into that on a spiritual level really neatly. I liked that. Like the scales being, the scales being glowing and rainbow. And then we connected it to the plankton later on glowing. And then we connected it to when Umi becomes this big, creature that looks like Full Metal Alchemist, and he's just solar systems. And each little solar system looks like a scale. And then the spirals, like everything connected visually in an abstract surrealist way that I liked, and I found meaning within it. Do I think sometimes the movie gets a little heavy-handed in what it's preaching and it's doing so because the audience watching is a younger audience. Yes. Like when they're like, we don't know what. There were a lot of abstract things said throughout the movie that I was like, yeah, if you took a college rhetoric class, or philosophy class, you've heard the same thing, right? I do like the visual when she kicks the desks all away and there's like her in the center of it, like it's like the school of fish. I liked that. I liked mainly my favorite parts of the movie were when Umi and Ruka were just hanging out. I liked those are my favorite parts. I liked that and the visuals and everything. I thought those were really cool. And they keep on saying there's going to be this ritual take place, this festival. Once Sora comes into the mix, which is about half an hour into the movie, like his presence, I like Sora and he's mysterious. I wish we'd gotten more with Sora to kind of know why he is the way that he is. It's sort of hinted at in the movie, and I feel like they just didn't have time to talk about it because they had to get to the next point. And I liked Sora and Umi's relationship. But like the things they bring up, like the luminescence and Sora and all of that, I feel like in the manga they have more significance, and they hacked a lot of that out because they didn't have time to talk about it. And I'm like, would this have been better as like a Takabi's Original Sin, like a 6-episode series that you could have gotten all of this, all the information? Because it kind of falls off at the end. Like Jim's story just kind of like gets washed away. Anglade, he gets completely left out of the plot. We don't get any resolution with their characters. The old lady kind of has a resolution, but she's just kind of cryptic, and then she goes on her way after spouting her philosophical, symbolic rant. And then I feel like some of the plot points in this movie start out and they're really strong, and then they just get abandoned. And it's kind of a shame because I wanted to see where those led to. But yeah, so like for example, they talk about the Song of the Whales and how she's like them, and is she the guest at the end? They kept talking about there being a guest for the birth. Like, was she the guest that was present? We assume so, but why her? Why was she chosen? I guess it doesn't matter, but is there a reason? And the birth ceremony itself was this big surreal abstract spectacle, but I was like, okay, but then what was the result of it, and did it matter? And there's a lot of questions that are just left open for us to interpret, and I guess my cup of tea is I want a little bit more groundedness with it. If you're going to be abstract and surreal, that's fine, but I feel like there still needs to be a purpose. And I feel like this series has a purpose, but it had to cut it down because it didn't have enough room. Now, then finding the sea creatures on the floor, that was creepy because I've seen some articles about the lanternfish coming up from the bottom of the sea. There is an environmental message in this. It's just more abstract, and I appreciate that it's not on the nose itself, but I feel towards the middle of the movie, we kind of drop off. We don't have as many interactions between Umi and Ruka. Instead, it's all leading up to the ceremony. And we meet Anglade. And Anglade is mysterious and interesting. I wish we'd gotten more with Anglade and like, why did him and Jim break up? What were their relationship like? I almost want to read the manga just to be like, what happened between all them? And like the stuff with the dugongs, like, we got just enough to understand where they came from and their origin, but I wanted more about like, the dugongs are cows of the sea. So, they're more, I feel like people give manatees like a maternal symbolism behind them. So that makes sense. But like behind Jim, they have the phases of the moon. And when they think all this is going to happen and take place, they don't ever really explain what happened to Sora. It's just, he's gone now and he's one with the sea, I guess. Figure that out for yourself. Now, they talk about Anglade could be the one to guide you when the time comes. Do you need to trust him? There's no need for trust. We'll track the location of the ship wherever it goes. So these cases were all filled with money. So I'm assuming those were given to pay off Anglade? Really? I feel like they could have explained that better. But yeah, like visually, I love them all. They have the scene where they all eat together and it's really sweet and they make the lobster. There was a very like circle of life feeling where all the animals were like coming around to them eating their dinner. There's this idea, but there are some concepts of the movie that are thrown out there, like these big abstract thoughts. And I feel like I want to phrase this as kindly as I can. Have you ever known somebody at a party who's trying to be deep? And I knew people in college like this, and I was like, okay. And they're trying to be like all philosophical. They're like I hate using this word, but they're artsy. they're like, where did we come from and where are we heading? What is the winds telling us? The sea gives us information, but who knows how our measly matter can interpret it? And you just kind of roll your eyes and go, okay, you went to one philosophy class and now you know how the world works, or you're questioning everything. Okay. And that's kind of how, towards the halfway point of the movie, they ask these big philosophical questions to make the film sound deep. But then when they give the explanation of it, it's all like the basic philosophy 101 kind of detail. And you're like, oh, that's all we're going to do with it. Okay. And I feel like that is me as a 37-year-old watching this movie who's taken rhetoric and philosophy classes. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I wanted them to apply it in different ways that were kind of new from what I've seen. And the movie just doesn't do that. And if it's for kids or teenagers to watch, then I get that. That makes sense. And I'm not mad at it for it. But I start to get a little bit wary about the audience and intent with that being said. Because if you're going to bring up these very broad philosophical quandaries and you're leaving them for your audience to ponder, it's like, okay, cool. And if your audience are teenagers, cool. And it's said that the manga was aiming for like a female audience, cool. There are some questionable symbolism in this, questionable themes that I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm going to say first and foremost, this is coming from me, a 37-year-old cisgender woman who has no interest in having children. There are the aspects of female propaganda that are put onto women, that they must be maternal, they must birth children, and they must expand humanity, creep me out to no extent. I am very creeped out by that. I've been since I was younger because I've seen that propaganda firsthand pushed upon me, and I hate it. I'm like, I've never wanted to have a child. I just have never wanted to give birth. I've watched, and I live on a farm, so I've watched animals give birth my whole life, and there's nothing to me that feels magical about it at all. And I'm going to say this with the understanding that most women, especially mothers, do not share that same sentiment. And I totally get that. I have friends that are mothers, and they love the idea. They love that they love their children. They believe that, you know, birth is this miracle, which it is, and the process is so miraculous, which it is. But I do not share that same sentiment. Like, I love children. I just don't want to physically give birth to one myself. You know, that's just never been me. And so growing up, there was, especially in a rural small town area, there's a lot of push that women's only value is in being part of this birthing cycle, and that's their value and where it is adhered to. And so I think I would have felt more comfortable with this message being proposed if Ruka was a later teen adult woman that this stuff happens to. But her being a child, being like 10 or 11, creeps me out in this movie. One, there's a lot of non-consensual, I mean, it's non-consensual sexual acts. It's not sexual in the sense of penetration or intercourse. Physically, metaphorically, whole different scenario. But the fact of Sora, like basically kissing her without consent, and you can interpret, like, do you interpret him putting the meteorite down her as like an act of penetration, because later on it's like in her womb, in her stomach, but it's metaphorically a womb. She's in the womb of the whale, and then there's like this like bulb around her that looks like an egg, and then Umi penetrates the egg to take the meteorite from her. There's a lot of sexual symbolism in that moment that I feel like if a teen girl read this without knowing how to interpret that symbolism, it feels a little like, and I know Japan has a population problem where girls aren't having babies, so it feels very much like let's put this propaganda out here to get the girls to have babies. And the fact that it's written by a man makes me question that all the more. And I know it shouldn't matter. If a woman wrote this, I should get the exact same feel out of it, but that's just not the world we live in. And I'm like, it feels a little propaganda-y of like, here girl, your value is to have a child. See, you've picked up the symbolic lullaby from your mom and grandmother. You have to continue on and do like the ocean does and give birth to further the miracle, to further society. And it just creeps me out. I need to get off that on my chest because it was building up throughout the whole movie. Now, I wondered also if there was kind of like a non-binary queer interpretation of Anglade. Again, I don't want to make assumptions because can a man grow out their hair? Absolutely. Of course they can. There's nothing saying that they can't, and they're still masculine, they're still a man. I just didn't know, especially with this movie doing different things about like the seahorse, which is a male, which the male seahorses give birth and carry children. I didn't know about that. I guess if Umi had gotten the meteorite and went through that process, because I mean, or if Sora's spirit had underwater did the whole like birthing thing, I wouldn't have felt so weird about it, because it would have been like, okay, this is just, doesn't matter what you are, this is just part of this ritual. I don't know. I don't know. It just gave me the vibes of, we're giving this female character this kind of like, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about a guy writing for a female audience and then having like all of this pregnancy symbolism and metaphors. Like, it just kind of grosses me out a little bit. Not gonna lie, especially because it's published in a seinen magazine, which is generally like, I mean, what are the target audience? Target of seinen manga, like the target audience are usually, the target demographic are men aged 18 to 30 or up to 40 years old. What do they say about it though? But it says that while this shoujo is typically published for adolescent girls and all that, although the term is used less frequently when the older the intended audience becomes. But yeah, the target demographic is men. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like intent matters, and I don't know how to feel like if you're saying that it was meant for young women to read, then that's fine. I don't mind that. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if the target topic of that should be explored, considering like you've never given birth. You don't know what that's like. I don't know. I have thoughts. I have thoughts about it, and I just feel kind of creeped out. But I feel like the main thing with the plot is, if you look at the plot of the movie, the plot of the film, when they talk about it, this kind of got to me. It said, after falling out with both her mother and the other members of her school club, female-led and junior high, so middle school, student Ruka finds herself with nowhere to spend her days for summer vacation. So she ends up hanging out at the aquarium where her father works. While she's there, she meets a mysterious pair of brothers named Umi, whose name means sea, and Sora for sky. Which Sora, the idea of flying, the spirituality of that name, and Umi is part of the sea, whose father tells her that they were raised by dugongs and are being observed for their aquatic abilities. The three teens share some sort of connection to a series of supernatural phenomena that have been affecting the world's marine life, such as a comet falling into the sea and aquatic life from around the world gathering Japan. The fact that the plot element says some sort of connection to supernatural elements, the plot is very basic for this movie, and I think it's because there just wasn't time in the movie to expand the plot out to what it needed to be. And I know that I am projecting my own thoughts of feminism onto this movie, and that it should not matter if a man wrote it or not, but for it being a seinen magazine, but he said it was meant for females to read, it feels a little propagandy. It feels a little bit like that. And I don't think I would feel that way so much if we had a more concrete understanding in the film of what's the ritual. Who are Sora and Umi? Are they human beings that were possessed by spirits of the sea? Are they angels that have taken human form? Are they celestial beings that have come down, become humans? I loved the idea of them being like this take on a mermaid. I liked that idea. They started out the movie with it being like, they're kind of like mermaids, but then when Sora was like, oh, his body's readjusting and reintegrating, and I'm like, okay, well, is he going to become a dolphin or something, because he starts acting like the dolphins in the aquarium? So I'm like, is he going to become a sea creature? What's going to happen to him? And then they both just disappear by the end, and we just don't really get an answer. This film doesn't give us a lot of answers. It poses all these questions that are very philosophical in nature, but then we don't really get a whole lot. So the woman's ship is the Rua Benita, and she takes them out to where all this is going on. But later, I wanted to see where the typhoon came. Non-consensual acts towards women and like forced pregnancies and stuff creeps me out and I hate it. So the fact that this 10-year-old girl was having to experience that is very creepy to me. I'm sorry, I just have to say it. But even if it was just metaphorical, I was like, okay, so then there was the one ship that, because they were looking inside of Jim's ship and there was all the money inside of it. But then we see back at the observatory, there's Anglade. So did Jim die? We don't get answers. And towards the very end, Anglade poses all. Anglade is that guy that I would not want to be at a party with. Because he'd be like, every one of us is comprised of matter, and there's more dark matter than real matter. He would be that guy trying to be deep at a party that I would be like distancing myself from. I'm like, just have fun, man. But, so yeah. Now, to be clear, I am really glad that I watched this movie. I thought it was visually absolutely gorgeous. I thought it was beautiful. I'm really glad that Shimoyama commissioned it because I definitely needed to see like the visuals of this movie. They were absolutely gorgeous. There's just like a part of it that I do question about the author's intent and if maybe the author is outside of their depth for what they're talking with. Maybe that's the way I'm viewing it. So I personally it was not my cup of tea in that regard, but visually and audially, it was spectacular. So you probably all love this movie and you're like, Romania, you are digging too deep into this and you're projecting too much of your own feminism and blah. And that's fine. That's okay. That's why I'm here, to tell you all my opinions and see if you agree or disagree and just roll with it. So anyway, thank you very much, Shimoyama, for commissioning the movie. I did enjoy it. Visually, it was great. And it brought up a lot of interesting questions to talk about. So in any case, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. Thank you for watching with me and listening to my discussion. And I will be back next week with the next film that has been commissioned from Patreon. And I'll see you there. Bye.